Hello folks, it's the 19th of June 2024. Little ride here downtown through the historical neighborhood here. We're on Westnedge Street heading downtown to Bronson Park. Shoot a little video down there about a haunting. This, of course, is the Vine Street neighborhood. It used to be known as the student ghetto. When I was coming up, these homes, most of them were single-family residents. And over the years, many of them have been turned into multiple apartments. And some have been razed, some of the old buildings and so forth. Coming up right here on the Kalamazoo Ladies Library, which is one of our valued and treasured historical landmarks. There's the parking for it, and there's the Ladies Library. Beautiful, huh? We'll be right back. Just beyond the Ladies Library there, on the corner, is the Civic, Kalamazoo Civic Theater. It's haunted. I'll make the turn right here onto South Street. We'll find a little place to park down here and then take a walk over to where there is a death and a haunting. Kalamazoo City Hall, First Presbyterian Church. And we'll pull right on up here. There's the Park Club right next door. Beautiful, beautiful Victorian era home there. Okay, we're here at the park. There's going to be quite a bit of topiary here. As you can see, my broken window. Sorry, be right back. Okay, folks, here we are in beautiful Bronson Park, named after the founder of Kalamazoo, Titus Bronson, who had built his cabin right over there about 250 meters. We have a Native American mound that's also here in the park. It's original. Again, Kalamazoo Central Library. Village founded by Titus Bronson in 1829. Just going to take a short little walk right over here and take a look at a spot that is haunted. Other parts of this park is too. I'll be right back. This, of course, was one of the oak openings as well back in the day. Until May 13th, 1980, when the tornado hit this town and tore about half of the trees out of here. Big old growth trees like you see now. Park has been reconfigured a bit since then. There's our old courthouse there. There's our veterans area here now. But during this tornado, it was really tore up downtown here. And it was only after it was over with and they had been rescuing and pulling people out of different places around here. There's our old Columbiad, 10-inch Rodman, Civil War era. They made these up to a 20-inch model. How do you like that? But down here, these large trees were laying all here across the street. And it wasn't for many hours until the authorities discovered that there was a young man that had been on his motorcycle and he was killed by these falling trees. His name was Francis Hardy. Francis died right up here. Right here is where he was found, pinned with his motorcycle under the heavy fallen trees. Now, since then, and also with all respect to Francis Hardy and his family, I don't know them, but since then, people that knew nothing about this young man or what he looked like or anything else, be walking along here many times at night, and they would come upon Francis and he would speak to them or just nod as he walked by, and people would turn around and say, "That's a nice man." They'd turn around and look and he was gone, disappearo. This happened so many times people stopped talking about it. They just thought, what the heck is going on, and so forth. And then the subject dropped for many years. It wasn't until just about 3 years ago, 4 groups of people that were down here seen him, and also seen that in just a couple of seconds he was gone. And so it started back up again. The Hardy Ghost here in Bronson Park. Haven't heard anything since. Seems to come and go, the apparition. It does not seem to happen around May 13th. And it does not happen in the wintertime. This park is also said to be haunted by Abraham Lincoln, but that's been disproven. It certainly is Titus Bronson. Here he founded this town and did so much for it, and he was a little bit eccentric. But the muckety mucks here in town, they couldn't take that eccentricity, and so they kicked him out of town. They banned him from the town. They kicked the man out. Said that he's very pissed. Comes back here. The older buildings. This was the YWCA back in the day. Now it's the Greenleaf Trust. In order to invest and walk through that front door, it takes, and I'm not kidding you, a minimum of $2 million investment. And you can go in there and do business with a minimum of $2 million. This building here was known as the ISB building. It was a ISB bank building back in the day, and during the tornado, almost every window in this building was blown out by the tornado. The large exchange skyrise here in the corner wasn't even there. That was a parking lot, and before that it was a men's store right across the street here from our old and closed county courthouse. Of course, here's the Traveler. It's a Ruggles Kitson. Done a video on the Traveler before. There are many throughout the United States. There's one up in Lansing. Spanish-American War soldier. (1898 to 1902). There's his famous Krag Jorgensen rifle. I've owned one. Actually, I've owned 2. They were saddle carbines. They were the saddle ring carbines. The serial numbers were not Rough Rider, but they did serve during the Spanish-American War. Down here on the boot used to be on the heel right here. Theo A.R. It's Ruggles Kitson. A.R. Ruggles Kitson. There he is with his canteen, his haversack. Of course, they're old cloth or canvas cartridge belt around the waist. There he is, the hiker all over the United States. Go back over here and see the statue of Lincoln a second before we leave. It's said that there are funds being raised to have a bronze statue of Titus Bronson placed here in the park, maybe right in the center. You can see these places that are rusty and they have drill marks here in the cement, and they'll be all along these little entries. This is where at Christmas time they install candy cane lane, and these are giant candy canes that go up and they arc over the sidewalk here during the day. There's some squirrel action up here. Of course, it's a park. What's up? What up, dog? Yep. As we walk through here, I'll tell you about this green space right here. This used to be a big fountain, and I don't have pictures to show you. It was deemed many years later to be hurtful to Native Americans and so forth, the depictions of pioneers taking over this area from the Native Americans. And so it was dismantled and stored. These were water cannon that would fire out into the water. This large, beautiful fountain, all lit at night and so forth. And we'd come down here as kids and sit on these and pretend that we were firemen. And you can see over the years, some of these have become damaged. Certain feelings run very deep. In many cases, they should, but not to come around damaging things like this. Now, this is a nice little green open space. Down here beyond it was also a pond with statuary and so forth. And we'll look at some of those statues that have been removed and removed. And take a look at that right here. We get back this way. Sorry about that. There's the new Justice Center, the Judge Pratt Center. Right there. Old Art Deco building. The jail used to be up on the top floor, and the yard for the jail was up on the roof. Very interesting, huh? The prosecutor's office took over that top floor. I can tell you about a couple courtrooms in that building, but not in this video. Walk over here and take a little closer look at Lincoln. This bronze was placed earlier, last year actually. It was desecrated almost instantly, covered with red paint down below here. Very kind gentleman named Gary came down here, older gentleman, and spent hours and hours and cleaned this. He was one of the men that were involved in this happening, this bronze being cast in the whole Lincoln project. Now Lincoln's here because right over here where we're going to go back to the car, he came here when he was running for office from Illinois and gave a big speech in this park. And very historical speech. And so Lincoln has been brought back for years. Like I said, they thought the ghost that was wandering around in here, he looked like Lincoln and so forth, but Titus Bronson looked almost the same. And they mentioned that this man was short, the ghost, not tall like Lincoln. Titus Bronson was short. Right here is where the other pond was. Had lights, water, filled it up. Very, very nice. The Indian mound Of course, there's our band shell. Put performances on right there and so forth. Right over here is the Indian Mound. Now, when we were kids, it was taller. It's lost a little size over the years. It had been completely excavated. There's nothing in it. I can remember during Christmas time they would have the nativity set up near here, and they'd put the sheep with a couple of the shepherds right here on the Indian Mound. But now they've moved the nativity over here to the other corner. Across the street, of course, the haunted Civic Auditorium. Our Native American mound. We'll go right over here a second and I'll show you what used to be back here sitting in this reflecting pool. Jawohl, das ist the Gothic Kirk, First Presbyterian Church. Right next to City Hall, and just across the street from the bronzes that used to be positioned and stand and playing in the water of the reflecting pool. That's some seahorse topiaries. Roger and Christy Lipsy. Here's a sea serpent slithering or undulating through the area. When justice and mercy prevail, children may safely play. I'll be right back. Get a little bit better view here of the kids. If you've noticed, there are 4 empty stanchions here. I wonder what they're going to put on those. One person told me that, well, 2 people have told me that their feeling was that these stood for the children that couldn't be here, that are gone. If you understand, it could be. This is also interesting. It's quite a bronze. As you can see, it reminds a lot of people of Han Solo caught in frozen in carbonite. You can see the image coming through, busting through. Take a little look here on the other side. See once if this is like an impact. But I don't think it is. It does appear to be impactful. All right, folks, we'll just take a little walk over here and I'll show you where Lincoln gave his speech. Okay, folks, during the tornado, the large witness tree that Lincoln had stood very near when he gave his speech was ripped apart, ripped down, tore up by the tornado. Another witness tree was planted just a few years later. People decided, you know, we have to mark this. We have to mark this spot. And so this beautiful little maple right here was planted. Right here's where Lincoln stood and spoke and gave his speech. Right here in this general little area. And as we walk right back over here, here you go, some scenes from around Kalamazoo. They put on these pipe stanchions, the Henderson Castle, which is kind of cool because right behind it right here is another pretty cool little castle too. Right? Gibson guitar, Johnny Cash. Hey, Johnny, that's the king. No, that's not the king. Yeah, baby. No, that's not the king. I can do better voice intimidations than that. I mean, imitations than that. Not only did Abraham Lincoln give a speech here in the park, but right over here on the front steps of City Hall, right there in front of the 241 address door, John F. Kennedy came to town and gave a great speech right here. The area was, the park here, of course, was packed with people. And right there, JFK, and right over here, Abraham Lincoln. You couldn't ask for two better men at the time, or even by today's standard, to be around here. All right. Thank you for being with me today and visiting my channel. Thank you for subscribing. Little video this morning from Bronson Park District, Central City, Kalamazoo. Sun's rising. Time for me to go get back in my box. Until the next one, have a great and safe day.